Megyn Kelly is, of course, a host for Fox News. She's going to have Josh Silver on, as well as Jim Harper of the Cato Institute. Jim Harper is a theoretical libertarian. In fact, of course, he's a shill for corporate America. Josh Silver is in favor of net neutrality. Now, net neutrality says that corporations that lay the cable for your internet cannot discriminate and say, all right, I'm going to slow this site down, or I'm going to speed this site up, or I'm going to give a tremendous advantage to my own site and disadvantage to other sites. It's a good thing that protects the internet. Now, watch Fox News flip that on its head. Let's go to clip number 2.
Well, a lot of folks worry that the federal government is trying to control more and more of our lives. Now Uncle Sam is pushing to exert more control over the internet. Is that something we really want? Jim Harper is Director of Information Studies for the Cato Institute. He's against more government regulation. And Josh Silver is the President and CEO of freepress.net. He supports new regulations. All right, gentlemen, thanks so much for standing by. Jim, let me start with you. So the Obama administration has just made, they're pushing to get more control over the internet. And, you know, this plays into some people's fears that the Obama administration is getting bigger by the day, and before he's done, he's going to have his hands in too many aspects of Americans' business. Is there a point?
Well, yeah, the Federal Communications Commission announced last week that it was going to attempt to regulate the internet under a set of rules that were devised for the old telephone system. The internet's thrived under the freedom that we have. Net neutrality, which is the buzzword for what we're talking about, that's a good engineering principle, but I think the last thing we want to do is give control of net neutrality, give control of the engineering of the internet to the lawyers and bureaucrats at the FCC.
Well, the problem, Megan, all due respect, the lead-in's not right. Actually, net neutrality will have the opposite effect of what you're saying. Net neutrality is the law that's not to regulate the internet, to regulate the giant companies that provide it, Comcast, AT&T, Verizon. Net neutrality simply says those companies can't censor content.
Wait, but let me stop you, because nobody knows what net neutrality is. You already lost a lot of our viewers. I want to keep it to the point where they can understand. Basically, what has happened is a court came down and told the Obama administration, you can't get involved in regulating the internet, and now they've found a way to do it. I mean, do I misstate the case?
Yeah, you did misstate it. Here's how it worked. Under the Bush administration, the FCC made a decision that made it much harder for it to regulate the internet providers like Comcast and AT&T. The court then said, because of what the Bush administration did, now FCC, you don't have authority anymore. Now our FCC needs to simply make a move so that they can then keep the big companies from censoring content on the web. This is not about government takeover of the internet, and it never was.
Is that right, Jim? Because everything I've read about this says this is a push, this is the beginnings of a push by the Obama administration to control the internet to some extent, more so than they had in the past.
No.
Well, I guess Josh is from the glass half empty school, where anything that's unregulated is not protected. In fact, we do have large companies that are internet service providers, but what we need to do to protect ourselves is be active consumers for one, but also have more competition among internet service providers.
All right, come on, that was just precious Fox News, classic Fox News. Everything I've read says that the Obama administration is wrong and that they're overregulating in big government. They mentioned 5 different times, I kept count, of either big government or government regulation. This looks like the government regulating the internet. You see, there's the trick. Okay, as Josh was trying to explain, no, the government would be regulating the internet providers to make sure that they don't regulate the internet. The government is not regulating the internet. They're not coming in and saying, I don't like the YoungTurks.com, I'm going to regulate that, but I do like this site and I don't like that site, etc. No, the government isn't doing any of that. In fact, the exact opposite is happening. They're preventing Comcast, Verizon, and AT&T from regulating the internet. But Fox News turns that on its head and go, come on, economic freedom, and you know this is what we need. And if I guess, big government, Obama, come on, just trust the companies. The companies will do it right. If you get your information from Fox News, you are literally not just misinformed, but ignorant of what's happening because you didn't get the news. You got propaganda instead.